Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Tyler Cameron talks dating life after The Bachelorette.
The love life update. Well, my dog is here and we're having a good time together, and that's about as good as my love life has ever gotten. So there's no love life update here.
Plus, Shanae puts on her best act as the girls roast Clayton, and our Bachelor makes 2 strong connections. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly Senior Editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, wow, what an episode.
I mean, welcome to the Shanae show. It's never going to end. Hi, Christina. I'm so over it.
So over it. We're going to break it all down in just a second, but you had a fun Bachelor Nation interview this week.
Yes, always fun to talk to Tyler C, right? Looking better than ever. I caught up with Tyler Cameron and we got into a little bit of dating stuff in the post-Bachelor universe. And here's what he had to say with his dating love lives update.
Does it make you more inclined to want to do more reality TV type things? And if so, is there a line of definitely no more dating stuff? I only want to do competitions or a dream show or anything like that.
No, I'm always open to whatever. I would love to find my way into the construction world. I'm building a lot of houses and would love to do something like that. But competition shows, I'm a competitor. I always want to compete. I love it. So I'm always down for that. And hey, maybe I will need help dating one day and I'll get back in the world. So.
All right. Not totally closing it out then.
No, I would never close it out.
What is the love life update? Your favorite thing for me to ask you.
The love life update. Well, my dog is here and we're having a good time together, and that's about as good as my love life has ever gotten. So there's no love life update here.
Is there anything that you've taken from the last couple of years, Bachelorette, relationships after, you wrote a book about relationships, main thing that you've learned or taken away that you want to take into whenever the next time you're in a serious relationship is?
Yeah, slow down. The Bachelorette, I think you grow so fast in that relationship, like you have to. And I think it kind of pushed me in my other relationships to kind of want to grow so fast. And it's okay to slow down and take a breath, and something I have to work on and get better at. But yeah, slow down for sure.
So what I got from this is that he's not saying no for maybe a Bachelor in the future.
I thought that was like the first time I think we both interviewed Tyler several times the last couple of years and his rise to fame post Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he usually shuts it down pretty strongly. Mm-hmm. And this was the first time I was like, okay, maybe he's a little removed, but I also thought it was a good insight that he was saying that maybe his relationships were moving very quickly because he was used to dating in Bachelor Nation, how quick that goes, and how he was like, I shouldn't do that. But then he also was like, maybe I'd go back on a dating show. Right. So I don't know if he knows what he wants.
He has no idea what he wants, but I mean, I'm still all for Tyler maybe being in The Bachelor.
I mean, I think everyone would really enjoy that, especially after, poor Clayton, I don't want to be too mean, but dude, you make Peter Weber look like a great decision maker.
Seriously. Oh, all right. Well, let's get into last night's episode because, like we said, it was intense. So, what were your Bachelor buzzwords? What kind of summed up the episode for you?
I feel like there's always one episode a season when I harp on the editing, and I know it's just how the show works and how they have to progress the story. But we didn't even see the end of that group date last week. We had no idea who got the group date rose. I assume it was Teddy because she was holding a rose at the rose ceremony, but we didn't even see that. And then even all the Shanae stuff, it felt so choppy to me. 1 minute she's in that deep conversation with Clayton. The next minute she's apologizing. Then she's back with Clayton. And did she just have the whole night with him, back and forth? Did no one else talk to him? Was it edited weird? The women forgiving her felt like it was almost a different scene or day, even though they're in the same outfit. The whole editing was just very confusing.
Very, very confusing. I have no idea what day, time, hour this was. It's very, very confused. Mine was why. Why are we still talking about Shanae? Why is she still here? Why does Clayton not believe these ladies when they basically are screaming from the top of their lungs that she is a toxic human being? And why did it take the trophy scenario for him to finally say something to her? I have so many questions for him, and I don't know why he's acting like this.
I don't either. It was that athlete metaphor of if you're being a sore loser, and he was like, oh yeah, I could never marry a sore loser. But he's like, but I could marry someone who everybody hates and makes fun of someone who has ADHD, but they have a bad temper when they lose a fake football game. I'm out.
Right. Totally. Oh God, I am so over this.
Well, before we get more into Shanae, because there's endless amounts of things to say, shipping wise, who are you shipping Clayton with right now?
I love Gabby. I've said it from day one. I feel like she stood out for me from night one. I think that they have a really cute connection. She's fun. She's goofy. And it seems like they really get along. based on that mid-season trailer, which we will talk about later on. It seems like she does get far. Things maybe get a little interesting between the two of them, but I really like the two of them together. How about you?
Everybody loves Gabby, and I don't dislike her, but I feel like I'm missing something. Like, I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I think she seems like a great person. I just, when she's on screen, I'm like not overly obsessed with her, but everybody loves her. So I think that makes sense. And I do think she goes far. I'm still on the Rachel train. I like her. I feel like they are very strategic, just like trying to watch it with a purpose, not knowing who wins, like very much still turning up the cute music when she's there. After last week's like ridiculous, them whispering sweet nothings in each other's ears. This week they made sure to include her like little one-on-one time with him. I feel like he is just so all in on Rachel. And I also think in that promo, she's the one who's like hysterically collapsed on the floor, which means I think like she might, you know, give him a run for his money when she finds out what else he did. Cause she like was so clearly the front runner in my opinion, but I don't know.
Oh, it's going to be so good. All right. Well, this show is all about a good one-liner. So who did your best line of the night go to?
I mean, the roast was pretty great overall. It was a nice reprieve from being in the house and them kind of just sitting there all gossiping. But I think whoever said that this was Shanae's season of The Bachelorette, it was great because like Clayton, it was a nice dig on Clayton. Jesse Palmer looked pretty shook by it. And it also gave us as viewers insight into them knowing that this is like going to drive the story. Like sometimes I feel like we find out things later. I'm sure there's stuff we don't know. There's other drama going on, but this is clearly something that's overtaking this house to the point where they're like, making it such a big thing. They know like the show can't edit around this. Like there's no going around the Shanae show, and the women are in on that. And I thought that all of their Shanae roasting was great. And it was funny because she wasn't there. So like it didn't feel too mean. And it was pretty good. What about you?
I like that one. That was one of my favorite group dates in quite some time. So I enjoyed it. Mine was, I forget her name when she was leaving after the rose ceremony, but she said to Clayton, "Don't be stupid." Like
Sierra, I think.
Sierra, yeah. So that should be, I mean, that should be his tagline, I think, for the season. Just don't be stupid. And
I was shocked she got sent home because I feel like I've actually been saying like I didn't necessarily love her because I felt like she was taking a little too much enjoyment in the like bring down Shanae train. But then Shanae got so annoying that now I'm like, all right, you were right, girl. And I feel like it was a big statement that he sent her home, sent Elizabeth home, and Shanae's still here. So it's not like he's eliminating everyone in the drama. He is eliminating anyone who's speaking out against Shanae. And like I need to know what's going on.
What is going on? I mean, he has been vocal on social media too. Like he realizes what a mess up this was and that how awful Shanae is. So at least he's kind of owning up to it now. But like you said, I would love to know his thought process like, while he was going through this. Like what didn't he see that everybody else saw? I don't know.
You know, like obviously producers are involved and there's a 2-on-1 situation. And in Rachel Lindsay's book that I just read, she opens up about how she wanted to send home Lee much earlier. And she like cried when the producers were like, you have to keep him for a 2-on-1. And she didn't like how that was going to look and whatever. But with Clayton, I can't decide if that's what's happening to him or if he just like really likes making out with Shanae and like doesn't get it because he like really is giddy around her when it's the two of them talking about like their connection. I feel like he's a little enamored, a little like giddy with her, like as in like connected to her like sexually. And it doesn't necessarily feel like a total producer move to me. No, maybe I'm just falling for it.
I totally agree with you. It seems like he has hearts for eyes when it comes to Shanae and doesn't want to believe the hype.
Well, let's continue with Shanae as we talk about thirst. What was your thirsty Shanae moment?
Oh my God, that apology where her, you know, I mean, she's right. She could have won an Oscar for that performance.
I bought it for a second.
I did too. I bought it for a second. She, you know, she had to like get her composure and, you know, have this big spiel that everybody, well, the girls didn't believe it at all. I don't think. Maybe like one or two were like, I appreciate the apology, but that was a performance.
I really thought like, I didn't necessarily think, oh, she's like so like she's actually like apologetic, but I thought she was nervous. Yeah. And like when she was going in to talk to Clayton and she was like, I felt like it was like, oh, she's actually like, she got caught. She's weird. She's going to get sent home. Like this is her first time where she didn't have like a plan to know what to say. But then the second she flipped the switch, I was like, damn, like we thought people were saying Greg from Katie's season was Meryl Streep. This girl, obviously she's no Meryl Streep, but the fact that name came up again made me laugh. But like pretty good acting.
Pretty good acting. I mean, yeah, very good acting. I mean, what was yours? I mean, kind of going on the Shanae train.
Yeah, same thing. But I thought it was just interesting that she openly admitted that she scripted what she was going to say ahead of the 2-on-1. So I was like, I just, these confessionals, like you always think, producers or whatever, I feel like they can't make this one up. Like, I really think this is all Shanae.
Like, do we think that like she is the biggest villain in Bachelor history at this point?
I think she's the most intentional villain in Bachelor history that's made it this far. You see a night one person who, was there, like, let's stir it up. Let's see what I can do. But this feels like, cause she's kind of like Courtney Robertson vibes, but I think Courtney Robertson genuinely was like, it was partly like this and didn't care. Then we kind of became likable because the producers like knew she won and like worked with her a little bit. This girl, I think is just a little off her rocker.
Yeah, she totally is. Totally is. All right. Well, let's talk about some cringeworthy moments of the night. What did yours go to?
Okay. So let's talk about Serena's one-on-one real quick.
Yeah.
I love Serena. I think she's gorgeous. Gorgeous. But like the whole thing was just so cringe to me because one, like they're riding these like very normal, like amusement park rides, acting like they're in these like crazy, whatever. It's like a boardwalk, like relax, like it's like the swing thing at boat, right? But whatever. And I thought it was just a little cringe. Clayton's interactions with her, like he was trying to be deep, but what he was saying made no sense. Like he said, "I'm trying to figure out your smile. You have that smile." Like, what does that mean?
You have that smile.
You have that smile.
I like, and then talking about like the one-on-one dates, I feel like we still know nothing about Clayton. Like these girls are like saying so much about their lives, and which they usually do during a one-on-one date, but I don't know a single thing about this guy.
What we're missing, I think, is what the Bachelorettes always do better. And Michelle did a great job at this, is the conversation kind of having a spectrum. So if you hear maybe a conversation about what you want with, as far as kids go, what your ideal thing to do is, something serious, something you've gone through. Whereas with Clayton, we get like really things that mean absolutely nothing. Like I could look into your eyes forever. And then like the woman opening up, and he does a good job like being supportive in that way. But yeah, he doesn't really offer anything else. And it feels like super, super superficial or super, super serious. There's none of that like, hey, how many kids do you want?
Right.
Hey, like what's your ideal Sunday morning? Like all the stuff they talk about in Paradise. I feel like we're missing like day-to-day stuff.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. My cringeworthy moment was Sarah's roast of Mara. Like, where did this feud come from? Right?
That was crazy.
It was so crazy. And like, she's roasting Mara, who is 32 years old, and was like, she's a cougar. She's all this. I'm like, she's only 32.
And you could tell like Mara was trying to pretend she didn't care. But like when she got up there was a chip on her shoulder, and I'm glad she like dished it back. Yeah. I would love to know more about that dynamic. Like, are they like constantly fighting like this? Or was this just like a way to get material? Like, was there something said that tipped the other one off? That like surprised me. And I would like to dig into that.
I would too. That's what I need more of. Goodbye.
What about your rose for this week?
That teaser at the end. Oh my God. Like, we've been saying for weeks how much of a mess Clayton is. And then this puts it in the spotlight. He makes really bad decisions going forward. Now it seems like we're trying to put together the pieces of like the earlier trailer. So now we kind of know maybe who was in that situation. Like you said, Rachel was the one, I think, crying on the floor. Yeah. Something bad happens between Clayton and Gabby. I'm here for it.
Do we think something bad happened?
I don't know, actually, now.
Gabby, or do we think, because that was the one that it was like, you heard it, all that stuff he was saying was so crazy. He was like, I wouldn't expect this from you. You effed this whole thing up. Yeah. I wonder, one of the girls, I would assume, unless he's talking to like a producer or something, which would be crazy. Someone must have told somebody about the sleeping with somebody else or whatever. And then that's why he confesses it, which does make more sense. Because as seeing that initial trailer, we were like, why would he offer up this information in like this, like the summit like that, like a rose ceremony format? But now I think somebody must have told somebody something. I don't actually think it was Gabby. I think they're trying to make it seem like it was. Yeah. My guess is that it's Gabby and Rachel with the two women he's talking to when you see the back of their heads, but that's a total guess. I also think Sarah could be in there. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It does look really good. And the whole season has looked good, but then the episodes are so disappointing, but I think I have high hopes that the last like 3 to 4 are going to be really strong. So we just got to get past where we still have like 15 girls left and get to like a final 8. And then I think Clayton's going to start saying, I love you to everybody.
I cannot wait. I'm here for the train wreck. What about you?
Oh, I'd like to give a shout out to the women who are calling out Clayton on social media. I just find it's really funny because Lindsay the one who I think looks like Jamie Lynn Spears, had a great TikTok from last night where she like read Clayton's statement about how he didn't know how Shanae was, and then was like, well, really? Because I told you here, I told you here. And I think Sierra has been tweeting that too, like since last week, being like, you said you didn't know, but then like, here's these many examples of us telling you about Shanae. And I get it. It's different to watch it. But I think Clayton was getting some information about Shanae, and his ability, his being like deceived by her or whatever it was, is pretty, it's lame. And I think it's good for the girls to try to hold him accountable. I think it's going to be a really good women tell all, which I've said before, but I'm still looking forward to that.
It's going to be a good one. All right. Who is packing their bags? Who has to go home?
It's got to be Shanae.
It has to. Like, we
Do you
both
think
agree
he'll
on
send
this.
both of them home on the 2-on-1?
I'm kind of hoping, because I don't even really understand why, like, I don't remember even if there was a problem between Genevieve and Shanae. Like, you know, no, I think that they both should go home. Genevieve, we know she's not going to get very far. She's not in any of those teasers. So let's just wrap this up and move on. And like you said, start getting to the connections that we want to see. Start getting to the Clayton throwing out I love yous every 5 minutes. That's what we want. I'm over Shanae. We do not need to drag out this 2-on-1 into another episode.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Here for the Right Reasons. Sarah, who is on the podcast this week?
I am breaking it all down with, you may know her on TikTok. Her name is Morgan P. Talk. She's very popular on TikTok. She does a lot of Bachelor coverage. So I'll have her this week. And then I have an old Bachelor producer on Friday. So I'm going to try to get some tea there. So we're going that route this week on Here.
I love that. I love the behind the scenes stuff. That's always my favorite. All right. Well, make sure to check back every Tuesday on Us Weekly's YouTube channel for Here for the Right Reasons. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. And Sarah and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.